So let me just say this. I've been watching back the podcast because I love me some me, right? And I've noticed two things in particular. One, I say the word a lot. Or it's not part of my regular vocabulary, my regular speech, but for whatever reason, when I'm performing this kind of energy, I go, right? It's almost like a segue. It's a ship, right? My sentences are these different continents and pieces of land, and I ride the and I get to my next thought. So I use it all the time. This, and that. What else? And that. That. And I say it all the time, and it's annoying me. So I'm trying to cut it out altogether. Number two is I grab the mic a ton. And we know this. I've talked about it on the podcast. I shake things up, quite a bit, literally. And I want to stop doing that. I'm trying to make some real emotional character growth here at the end of the year. So I'm trying to cut it all out and put the maximum amount of effort that I can going forward into this podcast and myself. So, full disclosure, I tried doing this about an hour ago. Speak! Hey, guys. It's so difficult. I can't do it. It's 2 letters, not even a real word. Cut out all the ums, and I didn't do any of this. And it wasn't really funny. I just kind of talked. I didn't use any of my notes, really. I just sat there and I didn't really do anything. So I'm redoing it because I just want it to be fun, and I don't want to, psychologically, it creates too much of a hurdle where I don't actually do anything funny or engaging or entertaining. So I thought instead of just stopping myself, I am going to employ a rubber band, right? Now, the object of the rubber band is twofold. One, to get myself to stop saying the ums, the uhs, and the jiggles, right? I don't want to be doing any of it, but also to snap in, no pun intended, a psychological attack that anytime it happens to know there are repercussions. So, it works kind of just like this. Mother! Yeah! Not touching it! Not touching it! No ums! No us! People of the world! Welcome back to a full circus. My name is Tristan Sartoris, and I'm so happy to have you here with me today. Hope you guys are having a beautiful weekend, a beautiful time, a beautiful Friday, a beautiful whatever day you're listening to this on. Regardless, I hope it's great. And, just checking in with you guys because it is the end of the season, right? This is a time where it's joyful, and it's been ramping up. I've been saying it for weeks. We're going climb. We're ramping up, but we're towards the end here, which is exciting and sad, but also, a little frustrating because we're at the, we don't know what's going to happen. Tensions get high. People are like, I'm trying to coordinate with you. My family got to go here, but you're going to your brothers and your aunts and your grandmas, and we're trying to make sure things, I'm going to get you this, but you're getting him that. So who's getting this? Who's my secret Santa? White elephant gift exchange? What's going on? Who's making the fruitcake? Where are the cookies going? Why don't we have enough? And who's coughing on all these pretzels? There's a lot going on, okay? So in the midst of all this chaos, just kind of relax a little bit and have some understanding for the other people that are going through all of that I just said. So next time you're waiting in line trying to get a good deal or get some cookies or get some chocolates or whatever you people are doing on Christmas, just before you sucker punch your fellow friend and neighbor, don't do it too hard. It's important to still, mark the territory and make sure you're leaving a line, and you gotta scrap a little bit sometimes, but it's an important, don't go full force, okay? Have some respect, dang it. Anyways, hope you guys are doing great and having a fun time, and I am as well. Did I touch the mic? I don't think so yet. We're still good. So I am rocking, man, I love this sweater. It's or sweatshirt or long sleeve. I don't know what it's called. My brother said, nice waffle shirt, and I don't, it doesn't really look like a waffle. Some people called it a crisscross. Some people called it just a square pattern or knit, but I've never heard of waffle pattern, and I agree when they just said, oh, it's kind of just like checkered and cross, but waffles, correct or not, way more appetizing. So yeah, I'm rocking my new waffle shirt, and I've worn it before in the podcast, and here's the difficulty I'm facing outside of not touching the mic, but I dress up on the podcast more than I do in real life. Okay, I'll be honest. I have one and a half shirts that I wear in my regular day-to-day life. And I don't want you guys to know that, even though I just told you. But I dress up. I'm a cartoon character, figuratively and literally. I don't ever change my clothes, but I have to look at the podcast and be like, did I wear this shirt last time? Was that, how many weeks ago was that? 1, 2, 3. Okay, fine. We're good to go. Send it on in. So I've been waiting to wear this shirt again. It's been a few episodes. Glad to have it back. Glad that I'm feeling good. And it's an exciting time, dude. I'm also rocking this new green polo hat, which is just fresh to death. Minty fresh, even. I got it from my dad. And he gave it to me because he got it. And I said, Dad, is that your hat? And he said, yes, son, it is. This is my hat. And I said, that's a really cool hat. And he said, do you want it? You can have it. So my dad's generous, quite literally just gave me the clothes off his back. He, in the end, he was like, well, the truth is, boys, that I don't think it looks as good on my, tough exterior. Because my dad's a very tough guy. He's very intimidating. That's just kind of, the energy and aura that he gives off. It's kind of thing when you walk by, you clench, you tighten up. And, he didn't think it was going to, just mesh as well. So he gave it to me, and quite honestly, I think he's wrong. Okay, this green hat looks good on anybody, but I didn't tell him that. I thought he actually looked great in the hat, but if I would have said that, he would have taken it back. So we're going to keep that just to ourselves, right? Oh, yeah! So I got this fresh new hat, man, and it just goes to show sometimes if you, just keep some of the honesty to yourself, you can walk away with some fancy new clothes, fancy new things. What else is happening, dude? Anything else on that end of the spectrum? No gifts. I guess it's an early Christmas gift. Talk about my early Christmas gift for my dad last week. We got him the tape measure again, and I got him in, dude. I got all my gifts, pretty close to it. Again, my dad, I keep giving my dad tape measures, and he knows that because I've mentioned on the podcast, and I asked him, my mom was like, why'd you say it on the podcast? You could have totally gotten away with it. But I asked him straight up. I said, Dad, what do you want for Christmas? Actually, he's like, well, son, if you can go and give me some tape measures, if I can get about, 2 or 3 a year or something like that, that's pretty much my ratio. I'm going to go and get through these things. I'm like, all right, you got it. So he knew what he was getting from Jump Street, right? I don't know how he's going through tape measures so fast. It's like he just measures one. He's like, yep, 28 inches. And he just gets rid of it, just throw, I have no idea. But he likes them every year. I'm going to get him on Christmas, on his birthday, on Father's Day, for the rest of his life, I guess. Because now I got him pegged. I know what he likes. And I know it's not green hats. Well, at least until he figures out he looks good enough. But regardless. Frick. Yeah! Dude. Man, I had to go to the bathroom so bad. And I almost went before the show started. But I didn't. I'll tell you why. Because my aunt sent me an article. It was a little thing that said, you should drink more water because when you have to pee so bad, you stop caring about other people's problems. No, no, not problems. It was when you have to pee so bad, you stop caring what other people think of you. That's what it was. You don't become like an ignorant douchebag. That's not the case. That's not what I was trying to say. Yeah. When you drink a lot of water and you got to pee so bad, you're only focused on where's the next bathroom. Okay. So this is something I've done quite a bit. And it helps, actually, truthfully. Sometimes you got to go number 2, number 1, something in between, whatever the case is. When you have urgency in your mind, you can't think about anything else super clearly because it's the over, like urine. The need to urinate is the strongest emotion you can have. If you're like having a bad day and you're like, oh, I broke my elbow. This is the only thing I'm feeling right now is I can think about this. Or you hurt this, and then a greater pain on your leg happens. You feel that one dominantly. That's kind of how urination goes. When you have to pee so bad, it exudes, it entitles, it encapsulates all of your feelings into one. So, yeah! When you have to pee so bad, it just kind of overtakes all the rest of the kind of fears or anxieties you may have. And when doing the podcast and you're trying to give it comedic value or make sure I'm funny every single 5 seconds, which is not how podcasts go in general. It's supposed to be kind of relaxed and we just talk and have fun. But I get into a headspace where I think, this got to be funny. 5, 4, 3, 2, joke. 5, 4, 3, 2, joke. 5, 4, 3, joke. I got to be ahead of the curve sometimes because you don't want to get too, routine. But I tried to not go to the bathroom, and I was like, dang, there's actual science to it because, that's truth be told, most of these episodes, I have to go to the bathroom. It's a little trick I've been using that I didn't know was even real. And I've used it recently in that callback I was talking about in the last week, which, by the way, severe anxiety going into. I don't know why, but callbacks are tricky. I have performance anxiety, like in general. I've kind of overcame it, but callbacks, that's an improvised callback where I'm walking in and you're like, you want to be as prepared as you possible, but you can't actually prepare, and I don't know what I'm going into, and I kind of already have the job because they're like, hey, we only have a select few people, and you're like, all you gotta do is just not mess it up, just do what I did before, but I don't know what to prepare for. So you walk in there and you're like, I don't want to mess it up, and it was super scary, man. Although as soon as it started, I'm like, oh, I'm locked in. I know exactly what we're doing there. But it's a fear of the unknown. So I tried not going to the bathroom during that as well. But anyways, that one didn't work with such high levels of anxiety. So it's not a be-all, end-all. I was just very stressed and I had to pee. And they're like, why are you jumping in the scene? It's like, you want to know. So I'm doing that as well, and I have to go to the bathroom. But we're having a good time. We're having a good little session. I'm trying not to worry about what's so funny and what's good and what letters I do or don't use, right? It's like I got to remove these 2 little Scrabble pieces out of my puzzle, okay? These don't fit in my sentences anymore. Throw them away. So here we are. We're left just kind of being here and just being one-on-one, guys. What else is going on without the UH that I would have done before? Not much. I almost did it again. Look at this. Growth. The pain that I'm feeling on my left wrist right now is proactively making me, become something better than I've ever been. So not much is going on. I've been noticing a lot of interesting drivers. I'm not saying bad drivers per se, although a few of them are. I was just kind of realizing that there's so many different perspectives and people and things you see. Like, one, you should never stereotype people because it's not good. I don't even mean like racially, never do that. But I mean, in general, you see people doing things. They say, don't judge a book by its cover. But sometimes when it happens enough times, you're like, okay, well, this isn't even a new book. This is like 8 sequels later. So when I see people driving these Dodge Challengers around, they're usually like 16-year-old kids, and they pop out, either they're rich kids or they've used all their money there and they just drive to the Dollar Tree right after. These kids are usually jerks, right? They're flying across the parking lot 80 miles an hour, freaking diagonally. 8 cars almost got hit. I was one of them, and they're honking at me to get out of the way. I was like, dude, you're off-road. What are you even doing? Yeah. So these people are usually pretty, off the boat and whatever. And I'm trying to realize that maybe you shouldn't, even though that is the case, I shouldn't be stereotyping. Although I haven't seen one that isn't a douche yet. I'm just saying that I probably shouldn't. And I'm adjusting it only because I bumped it so far. That does not count. I saw something else that broke against my stereotype beforehand, and that's like, maybe I'm going too hard on the douchey Dodge Challenger kids. So normally, when you see cars that are just blacked out, okay, I'm talking black to the nines, it looks like, the Addams Family. It looks like a black cloud. It looks like goth. It looks like anything that's darkness. It looks like the only song they're playing in there is, I see a normal car and I want it painted black. And they ice the thing, okay? It's dark as can be. And when you see that, windshields, car, everything galore, and the underglow too, you're like, okay, probably, listen, again, not smart to stereotype, but this is just normally how I feel. I say sketchy person. That's just the way that it is. Because if you're hiding, you don't just hide to hide. That's not how people work. You do whatever. You only hide if someone's seeking, or if you're hiding from something because you're doing something that's not to be okay. Right? Who runs unless being chased? Nobody just runs. We don't just run to run. We run if something's behind us, like police. Or you're doing something that you shouldn't be, and you ice the freaking thing, and you murder out your car as much as you can. So I saw one of these. Normally I say, okay, probably sketchy guy, probably up to no good, because most of the time when you see someone pulled over, it's like that. And I saw a car like this, and it was murdered out. I'm talking rims, the little white logos on the tires too, gone. The grill, the taillights, the windshields, the little emblems on the front of the car. Even if you got a little peek inside of the thing, his little, what's it called? Scent, the little Christmas tree scent, black ice. Okay, this guy, it was murdered out. And the more I saw this car as it came around, it was a minivan. And I thought, this is a little shake up on the usual. Guy rolls this down, got a full family in there. I'm like, whoa. So some people, my whole perspective has shifted. There can be people with the murdered out cars and the underglow, super cool. And, I don't know what to think. Maybe he could still be sketchy. I have no idea. Maybe it's just like when you're a gangster, but you also have a family, so he's got to have these people in the back. He's like, well, I'll get you the Happy Meal. I'll get you the Happy Meal. So it just kind of made me think about my perspective on things because I looked down at it and I said it. How ridiculous is that? Psychologically, I connected the thing and went, no more. We're growing. We're getting better. How many minutes was that since the last one? 4? I'll take it. So anyways, I'm learning and you kind of adjust, but I'm like 94-1 as far as getting these people. But I also didn't get to know the guy. He could still be edgy or whatever. On top of that, I've seen just, there's just weird cars all the time. I was driving down the highway, saw a guy. It's a car kind of taken apart. It's spray painted on the side. Says, "I'm fine." I'll put the photo image. And there's broken hearts all across it, and it says, "I'm fine. I'm fine." Person was driving very fast, and look, again, I don't want to assume anything, but I don't feel like you're fine, You see that? I'm like, well, this person needs a good hug or something. But, not a hug. I'm not a big hugger. That's not that I'm a big hugger. I just happen to know that high fives work marginally better, Here's my actual opinion on everything. Listen, COVID kind of changed things up where people stopped hugging and handshaking. It's not the same anymore. And people don't really hug. But I've always felt, and I've said this on the podcast, that high fives are way better than any sort of affection that you can offer me. Because a hug, it's warm and it's like you're wrapped, but a high five is not only just a coming together moment, a physical contact, but it's an impact. You are throwing your bodies as hard as you can at each other with a sound that reverberates through your soul. It's a good feeling. Somebody's like this, and you go by and you just bang. I bet they go like this. It's not a lot, but they smile a little bit. So I'm just trying to say, maybe we stop hugging just as much and, throw a couple of hands out there. It is what it is. I don't know what you have to do, with other cultures. No disrespect to them. I know, some of the Asian people, they bow, Japanese, and a lot of people are handshakes. You're dapping people up. Some people are huggers, or like the Italian, the Greek people, they'll hug and they kiss you on the cheek, which is, listen, I want to be a part of the culture. I want to be hardcore Italian and whatever that is as much as, I can be, but that's a hard thing to get by, The first time someone did that to me, I was like, what? Like he was trapping me in. And it didn't help that the guy was drunk too, so I was like, did you just burp in my ear, dude? It's not comfortable at all. There's no way that you could, and it's not something you can do with anybody. It's like, yeah, oh. Hey, okay. Handshake, a simple head nod would have done just fine, my brother. So, very uncomfortable. I would have loved a high five in that situation, and any other time someone's ever tried to do that. Dude, I don't even kiss my own mother on the cheek, okay? I don't like it. I don't want to be a part of it. But it's fine. It's cool. It's the culture of the things. But I'm not saying any disrespect to them, although I kind of just did. But I'm just saying, listen, I'm one of you guys, but let's just, This feels good. You can high five yourself. I guess it's called clapping, but if you do it with a certain amount of authenticity, I feel like if you sit on your left arm long enough until it gets numb and then you feel like you get high fived from somebody else, that feels good. There's a certain uplifting feeling and power you can receive from doing that. Didn't say it. All right. As far as Christmas gifts go as well, see how weird that is? It's super strange though to connect, right? It's like I just teleported. I'm over here and I gotta get to this new land across the ocean. And you're like, what? He teleported. He's just there. He didn't fly. He didn't sail. Where was the? Right. I just started talking. But anyways, as far as Christmas gifts go, I'm pretty much done. Like I said, the tape measures. My brother is the hardest and the easiest to shop for. I haven't even asked him what he needs, but I know, okay? Because my brother, my older brother, he's very steely. You know, he's just one of those people where he's just a grabber. You know these people where they see and they grab and they can't help themselves. It's just kind of the way they're built. They have some sort of psychological thing where it's like, yeah, it's like a moth to a flame, and it, for better or for worse, maybe they're gonna burn up. But the thing is, they just can't stop grabbing. He's like those little sticky hands you get out of the quarter vending machines, like, mine. That's who he is. You try and correct him, but it really doesn't have any effect. It's more along the lines of Dora the Explorer. Swipe or no swiping. And he just goes, oh, man. It doesn't really do anything. So with that, with all his, his grubby little 5-finger discounts, I've learned not just what he wants, but what he needs, okay? He's stealing clothes, HDMI cords, connectors, adapters, and the big thing is the USB plugs, the outlets. He takes them all the time, comes in here, stealing from the office and whatever. I'm like, where did this stuff go? I know I didn't lose. I've talked about this before. I do not misplace things, okay? I don't lose anything. And like I said, if I lose in a tournament, if I lose a game of professional sport, I'll say, listen, I misplaced my victory. That's just where that it is. I mean, I don't say that. I don't misplace things. I forget what I was saying. Point is, I should probably, discipline just for, losing train of thought. Hey, guys, what's up? I said, what the crap? Yeah! Whoa! Anyways, my brother steals some things, and it's gotten to the point that even if something does go, if he's not even home, he was in another state for months. If I lose something, I'm like, I know you took it. I don't know how, when, or why, but I know you have it.
I don't know how you's done it, but I know you's done it!
Okay? So, if anyone's looking for Christmas gifts for Joey, I would say get him some USB adapters, some HDMI cords, HDMI adapters, extension cables, whatever, just little things. So I just keep a running tally of the things that he's taken, a pair of jeans, a shirt, a hat, a hoodie, and you keep a running tally of his misdemeanors, and I tally him up. I was like, so this is what you need. And it's cool. It works out. Almost. Not today, son. I'm getting better, even though my wrist is on fire. Working out, guys. I got no segue. Working out. What is it? What it is good for? Absolutely nothing. Say it again now. It's not good for anything, okay? I've been working out pretty hard. Talked about this. Been bulking for a while. You're giving it all you got. That's a song I work out to. I've been working out pretty hard. And the more you do it, you're just desperate for these little gains, these micrometers of size that you could put on your muscles. And I don't know for why, some sort of primal thing that I must think, well, if somehow, some way I had to fight into a bear and look as big as possible, that will lend a hand, right? I don't know why you do it. It's not always just for health or a physical look, but you keep doing it nonetheless. And it's hard, not because it's slow, but because you're sore all the time, right? You start out overhead pressing 135 pounds and you up at 140, 150, 160. And the day after, I'm just as sore as I was on the first day. I've been doing it for like 2 years now. The level of soreness doesn't get any higher. If you're pushing yourself, you keep achieving rock bottom, which is a weird area to be in. So it's hard, especially with like leg day and having a car that's low to the ground. I'm like, I can't, why am I doing this? I can't get out. I can't get up, dude. Freaking putting my to the grass, ATG kind of squat style. And it's rough, man. It's a rough life. I don't know if I want to continue it, but I will say this. Everything is flipped. Diet doesn't even make any more sense. The last episode I was talking about, I was eating, wasn't getting any muscle, just getting fatter. Now, don't really feel like I'm getting any muscle, but I'm just getting skinnier and I'm eating more calories than ever before. Which people might be like, screw you, dude. You get to eat 4,500 calories and you lose weight? Yeah, but I can't solve it. Is math not a thing anymore? I don't know what happened. It just went out the gates. So, almost got me. Really dealing with that. And it's just meals, dude. Meals are tricky because you got to meal prep and healthy food doesn't taste good. We all know this. Don't act surprised when you almost grabbed it. That was a new one. don't act surprised when I say healthy food doesn't taste good. If you're like typing at your computer to listen to the podcast in the background, did he just? You gotta write in an email complaint or something. I don't know what you're doing, but yeah, you heard me right. Healthy food sucks balls, dude. It's terrible. There's not a healthy food out there that tastes good. And if it is healthy, you have to dump a lot of crap into it to make it taste good. Case in point, chicken. Chicken's healthy, but when you start adding your oil and your freaking breadcrumbs and your egg and your flour and tossing it into something, chicken by itself kind of suck, right? Chicken by itself kind of terrible. It's not good, and there's no point in dumping all that stuff into it. By the time you make it, you're like, why didn't I just eat a Pop-Tart? Because it's just so much. So it's hard. It's hard because it's got to taste bad, and I've gotten to the point where I don't try and make things taste good. That's just who I am as a person, and people are like, why don't you do that? Why are you just eating this buttload of slop? Why don't you try and make it taste good? It's so terrible, you say. Make it enjoyable. I talked about the yogurt before, my plain Greek yogurt. People are like, put some fruit in there. Put in something, whatever you're going to do to make yogurt. I don't know what you would, but if you want to throw some fruit and granola, try and make a parfait. Point is, it's so bad that not only what I just said, that if you throw so much in stuff, it's probably not going to be that healthy to begin with, but it's so bad that I know for a fact if I shovel and shoehorn my time into this bowl of yogurt, I can only bring it up from a D+ to a C- at best, which is like 2 grade points. Okay, that's not worth it. It's not worth the time. Okay, it's the same thing with the chicken. Why don't you put some seasoning, do whatever, make it, whatever, right? I can't make it. I can't bring it from the D+ to a solid A. If I could do that in 8 minutes or so, and I'm averaging 4 points a minute, I would do it. But I can't just uplift this thing like multiple grade point averages in a single setting. That's not how it works. So I'd rather keep my time and just go through this crap because I can't even get an A. Can't even get a B+, right? It's just gonna be bad because healthy food's no good. It's the same kind of philosophy when you go outside in the winter, because we live in Ohio, and people are like, you gotta warm up the car. Go outside, turn the car on, crank it up 1,000 degrees. Close it, come back in, warm back up. 15 minutes later, go back out in the car. And I say no to that. That's a stupid philosophy, and I'll tell you why, okay? I freeze easily. So by the time I walk out there and I jingle through the ice and get my car door open, I'm cranking the heat up and I close it. And I get back and I try and warm up. I'm already frozen, and it takes me a long time to warm back up. So I'm warming, and by the time the 15 minutes is up, I'm like, okay, car's probably warm now. I'm going to go outside and I freeze again. And then by the time I get back into the car, that's another 15 minutes. I'm kind of like warming back up. That's like 30 minutes of the frost. Okay. So why don't I just walk in there and just cold start it? And as the heat's warming up for that 15 minutes, I'm warming up for the 15 minutes. I've just halved my frozen time. Okay. You're wasting too much time going back and forth and back and forth. The trade-off, the time is not worth the grade point that I'm going to get. It was a C experience, and the best I can get is maybe a C+ or a B- tops. It's just not worth it. You got to think about your time if you're trying to maximize it during the stressful holiday season. I don't know what to get my older brother. Not the one that steals stuff, but the other guy. So if you listen to this, slide me a messages, and I'll pretend I didn't notice, and I'll just get you it, and we'll both have the little exchange of like, oh, can't believe you knew. But it's cool. It's whatever. Didn't get me. You almost got me, dude. What else is happening? Not much. I was looking at my notes. Oh, it's right here. The more I feel the pain, the more I go, and I can't get it out. How far are we? Oh, we're about 30 minutes into it, feeling pretty good. Yeah, not much has happened. It's really just been the food, dude. I did mess up my chicken. I made my chicken even worse. I mean, again, chicken was just bad to begin with, but I did it kind of uneatable. You're not supposed to leave raw chicken out. I do hear this. People say, if you have raw chicken, 1, don't eat the raw chicken, but 2, you shouldn't just leave it out. Now, I forgot about the raw chicken that I left out because I was trying to make some of the food, and you meal prep it in advance, just have more healthy food on deck, this crap. That way you can just kind of shovel crap, and that, it's a whole psychological thing. I won't bore you with the details. Point is, I had some of the chicken. I made 4 servings or so, had 3 of them, put them away, and I had the 4th one I was going to be making later. Put it just in the oven just so, no one else could get it. I could have put it in the fridge or the freezer. Forgot about it. I don't know why. And it just kind of hit me that, sometimes you just do stuff that why did I do that? I don't know. I told my mom about it. She's like, why'd you do that? Why did you do that? And you can't be eating that. No, I did eat it. It was still crappy regardless. I didn't really notice because, like I said, I'm eating D+ food all the time. Anyways, it struck me again when she said that. She's like, why'd you do that? And I didn't have an answer. When you're a kid and you get in trouble and you do stupid stuff and you throw a water balloon off a railing and hit somebody. Why'd you do that? Why'd you do that? I don't know. It's like you never actually have a good logical answer and explanation for why you did a certain thing. It shocked me back to that. I was like, I don't know. I mean, I guess I was lazy, but it wasn't any less work to put it right here instead of right here, So it just occurred to me, man. I thought about that. I mean, that happened so often when I was a kid. I would poop out of a tree for no good reason, and I still don't have a good one. I got in trouble. Why'd you do that, son? Why'd you do that? Why'd you climb up your neighbor's tree and poop out of it? I don't know, Dad. I don't know. I don't know. I still don't know. The thrill, I guess. Well, I'm afraid of heights. But I guess, dude, when you have to go to the bathroom really bad, all other emotions just cast right out. So, yeah, I've told this story on another podcast. There was a time where it was just me and my dad were home. And he had walked inside and he said something to me. I don't know what he said, but in my brain, I was 5 years old. I wasn't 5 years old in my brain. I was 5 years old in my brain. I heard, Tristan, I'm going to need you to get a cup of water, and I want you to pour as much water as you can right here on this spot on the carpet. Verbatim. Heard that completely, right? He walks back into the garage, working on the car, whatever. I'm 5. Okay, Dad, I'll do it. I go and get the cup. I can remember it. And I went and I filled it up. I'm dumping. I'm going back and forth, filling up, dumping on the spot. Filling up, dumping on the spot for a good 15 minutes. And I'm sitting there. I'm like, was this all he said? And I thought about what he said, and I was like, wait a minute. He said, then after you're done filling the water, I want you to jump in the water puddle. I was like, well, okay. Took off my socks, and I start jumping in this stupid little water puddle because I'm just trying to follow orders. My dad walks in the side. What are you doing? What are you doing, son? Why are you doing this? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I heard those words, and I was like, but I thought you told me. He's like, no, what are you talking? No, why would I ever say to just sit there and jump in a sort of freaking puddle in the family room? What are you talking about? And I didn't have a good explanation. And I think that's just how some things work in your brain. It's like, hey, do it, and you're like, well, okay, brain. So it just kind of shot back into this moment where I had this stupid little chicken, and I left it out. Again, shouldn't have eaten it, but I did. I messed up severely, and I thought about that. Why? You just have this moment. You're like, what am I doing?
What am I doing?
So anyways, that's kind of how my week has been, and I think that's everything. I have no idea. Probably pretty good, right? So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Full Circus. I appreciate your time because I know it's hectic. Okay? Listen, family members, everybody that is listening, I do want to say again how much I just appreciate it. That's the only Christmas gift I'm going to need because I love attention. I'm desperate and needy, and I like it. It's just who I am. Well, we couldn't just end it. We couldn't just end it going, I'm getting so close to the end. I should have just shut it off. It's a very valuable thing, and the more you grow up and you realize just how busy people are, the fact that someone's going to sit here and listen or watch this, just me and whatever, this goes to the people too, like the random people that find this show and watch it. I'm not just like you guys watch it like, hey, by the way, only appreciative of my family because I know they're busy. You guys aren't doing jack, all right? But anyone who's watching this, I got to say, I always appreciate you guys. It's fun, and you don't got to give me anything for Christmas. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. This has been Full Circus. I have been and always will continue to be Tristan Sartoris. My wrist hurts. I will see you guys in the next episode. And again, don't hurt your neighbor too hard, but it's fine. It's violent, but it's careful out there. Happy holiday.